Well, welcome to our final session, Winning Farmers Markets, with Damien Appel and Ashley Wagner. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them both, and then Damien's going to kick off the session with his presentation, and then we'll have Ashley. Damien Appel is the founder and manager of the Coffee Creek Farmers Market established in 2016. In the past decade, Damien has been able to cultivate a community of farms, bakers, and makers that has Coffee Creek at the top of the list for what to do on a Wednesday afternoon in Northwest Indiana. Located just south of Lake Michigan and close to major thoroughfares, the producer-only farmers market caters to a large number of communities. It has become a place where many small businesses begin and build foundations. The farmers market's consistency to being open 30 weeks a year with little cancellations has created a growing following of locals who attend regularly and rank it above other area markets. The Coffee Creek Farmers Market was the winner of the Indiana Farmers Market Community of Practice Farmers Market Challenge 2024. Next, we'll have Ashley Wagner. Beginning in 2011, Ashley started as a volunteer and quickly took over the reins as market manager of the YLNI Young Leaders of Northern Indiana Market. Over the past 14 years, the market has become a way of life. She really wouldn't know what else to do on a Saturday morning without the market. Under her leadership, the market has grown from 30 vendors to an impressive 200 each week, creating a lively hub that supports local farmers, artisans, and small businesses. Ashley credits much of the market's success to collaboration with her committee members and volunteers. Together, they work tirelessly to ensure each Saturday is a seamless and joyful experience for vendors and visitors alike. The market has also been a part of Ashley's personal journey, witnessing her milestones from dating and marriage to raising 3 children, homeschooling, and thriving in her real estate career. Dedicated and passionate, Ashley looks forward to continuing to build and spread and expand the YLNI Farmers Market. The YLNI Farmers Market is also America's Farmland's favorite market in the Midwest, or in Indiana, for 2022, 2023, and 2024. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Damien's presentation.
Is that showing up all right, Christina?
Yeah, you have a mail munch.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you? Yeah,
Well,
that's on.
correct. So I am doing a little bit of a different take on a PowerPoint presentation
Okay.
because today I want to show you what it looks like when you are an observer, a potential participant in coming to Coffee Creek Farmers Market. So this will not be a PowerPoint slideshow. This will be an exploration of our website, our newsletters, our social media, and how we brand ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yep, fantastic.
Lovely. Well, I just want to thank Christina and everyone within the organization for having me today. It's an honor to be able to speak and present to you. It was an amazing honor to be able to win the Indiana Grown's Ultimate Farmers Market Challenge last year. I'll bet a little bit of a surprise because we are a smaller market. We are not located in a major metropolitan area, and therefore just a lot of hard work and commitment to communicating with our community was able to let us be able to win the challenge for 2024. So as you see, when you go to our website, coffeecreekfarmersmarket.org, immediately you're going to get prompted to sign up for our weekly newsletter. So this is something that has been an evolving feature of the farmers market over the last several years, but something that we put a lot of weight into because when you run a farmers market, you want to connect with your customers in as many ways as possible. Particularly when you live in a smaller geographical populated area, you want to make sure that people have you top of mind on a regular basis. So we have people sign up for our newsletter upon entry to our website. We have currently slightly over 1,200 newsletter subscribers, which is pretty significant for the size of our market and our community. So we are a little bit different than some farmers markets in the fact that we are operated by a not-for-profit that I started just over a decade ago. We are not associated with any municipality or other philanthropic foundations. So we have to be self-supported financially, all through our own revenue producing entities, which are vendor fees and sponsorships and the sales of merchandise through the farmers market. We just relocated to a new location this past year in 2024. We initially had partnered with a local watershed preserve to be in their parking lot for a good number of years. And we had to transition out of that due to the changes in their organization. So now we're in a parking lot right close to our nearest highway, and it makes for a really nice scene and some beautiful blue sky, white cloud pictures. We are a Wednesday farmers market, which is not typically a farmers market's going to be bustling. And I would say we do well because we have a community of regular customers that love doing or supporting our market on Wednesdays. We Personally, I should back up just a second. Personally, I'm also an organic vegetable farmer, which is what precipitated me starting the market a decade ago. I was needing to have another sales outlet, and I couldn't have it on another Saturday, so I started this Wednesday market. Personally, over the years, when I was doing other markets, I was able to do a higher revenue at my Wednesday market than I was at the local Saturday market, which just speaks to what you can create on any day of the week, depending upon how you are structuring and selling your farmer's market and then the quality that you create of it. So we are 3 to 7 in the evening every Wednesday. We start in early April and go through the end of October. At 30 weeks, there's no farmers market in Northwest Indiana that goes longer than us. And this is a big benefit because it really helps our farms, which is the important notion of the farmers part of the farmers market. Farmers need Farmers that choose to sell direct to consumer need as many opportunities to sell their product to to the customers as possible. While there are a number of markets that are 20 weeks or less in our area, that really puts a financial strain on farms to feel like they can have reasonable outlets for sale for only that duration of a market season, pushing them to have to make other decisions. So as a farmer myself, I geared the market season toward pretty much in Northwest Indiana, we can have the beginning of fresh produce at the beginning of April via unheated hoop houses, and then we also just have a slew of other farm vendors that have product regardless, like dairy products, meat products, honey. Maybe they're growing inside, all kinds of things. So one thing that have tried to do over the last couple of years that has really, I think, set us apart is that we brand ourselves as different than most of the other markets in our area. Most of the markets in Northwest Indiana don't actually say that they are, quote, farmers markets. They are markets. So to be fair, they're not necessarily misrepresentation or misrepresenting what they're actually offering. But I think in general, the population thinks that if they are going to a market that potentially it has a more farmer emphasis, which is just not the case in Northwest Indiana. So we promote that we are number one, a farmer-led farmers market and a producer-only farmers market. Now, many people still, after 10 years, don't really know what producer-only means, but it's something that I just myself and my staff describe to customers on a weekly basis. That we are only allowing vendors and farms that are making, growing, producing whatever product they're selling. There's not we have a policy that no one is allowed to be a strict reseller in our market. We do have, I think, 1/3, 2/3 of resale products that booths or vendors are allowed to utilize, but they have to be those other products have to be coming straight from another singular source farm within a lot of geographical area. I think that's about 150-mile radius. One thing that's also neat is that we have almost all of our vendors that are located within our area. When I started my farm 10 years ago, while there was the occasional truck farm or a larger farm business, whether it be an orchard or a farm stand, there was almost non-existent of small local farms that were starting from scratch. So to build up to where we've come today is a testament to promoting these types of businesses to take get a footing in the work that is important to start to build a local food system, which is part of our mission as a not-for-profit. We also have artisans and other community wellness business join us on select weeks of the farmers market. This helps to not dilute the main focus, which is farmers and consumable or vendors selling consumable products, but also helps to boost our revenue and give a sales outlet for our local artisans and community businesses that want to have access to our customer base. Currently, I like to keep about 80% of our vendors, even on any single week, selling a product that is consumable, which means that when a customer comes and purchases that product, they're going to consume it, enjoy it, have a good experience, and then it's going to be gone. So they need to come back again to buy more the following week. The more that you leverage this part of operating a market, the more that you are pushing whatever size customer community base you have to show up regularly. Let me see if there's anything else I want to show you on our website. One of the big things that we have always been asked about is how to get to where our farmers market is. For most of its existence, it was a half a mile off our busy highway with very hard to notice side road to be able to drive down toward it. So we have a get directions tab on our website. There will always be people struggling to find out where your farmers market is, but that doesn't mean that you can't do your best to be able to give information about how to get to where you are located. Currently, we are in the middle of our sponsorship drive for the 2025 farmers market season. This is something that we continue to expand on for our market because up to this point, we've been relying probably about 75% of our revenue on vendor fees, which while I am proud that we can boast vendor fees that do support operating the market in that way, as many of you probably know, the more sponsorships you can collect and build up in your yearly budget, the more you're able to do for your community. But it's a skill set that is new to many people who are in farmers markets, and it doesn't necessarily it doesn't grow quickly. It takes investment year after year after year. I'm gonna get out of this. One thing that's super important is that you're using your social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, X if you use it, whatever else you want to communicate with your community. That's to show them that on a regular basis, here we are, this is what we're doing, and this is why you should come visit us. In my early years, what I noticed compared to the other local markets is that social media was like, hey, this is the event signage that says there's a market on this day. Don't forget, you should come. But what I found was that didn't actually pull customers to the farmers market, nor was I enticed by the post itself. So what I began doing, especially when in our early years, we were a market of 10 vendors or less, is that every week I'd be taking pictures of the products that people could purchase at the farmers market and posting them on our social media. This doesn't mean that you need to take at least fairly high quality pictures. You don't want to be putting up something that is not a high quality photo, so that your customer knows that they might want to buy what you're selling. So that was our marketing on social media for many, many years. It helped to build our brand. Now we have had so many of our vendors that have been with us for 3, 4, 5+ years. It is just assumed that this quality is going to be there, and therefore we don't have to put as many pictures up, and we can diversify into speaking to more specific things that are important for us to communicate to our customer base. As you can see in the cover photo, last year, one of our perks for one of our sponsorships level was that you could get your logo on our cover. So that was a big perk for this company, Glacial Sands, and with our over 8,000 followers, their name would be seen by anyone who came to our page. On Instagram, we try to keep a little bit of a more aesthetically visual type of posting on there, because it's not the same as Facebook, but we have graduated over time to just trying to make a little bit of everything, provide our customers with a little bit of everything, so that they're always being reminded in different ways about what the farmers market is all about. Over the last several years in particular, we have been able to create, particularly with our vendors, this thriving vendor base that is like a business family. They come back every year. They look forward to chatting with each other at the market. They like to joke around. They like to have relationships. You can see with this photo of the woman with the sunglasses and the maroon shirt. She's got a fanny pack on. And then this other woman with the fake beard and straw hat, these are two of our flower farmers, Tiffany and Susan with Twine Flower Farm, and they dressed up as me and my assistant market manager for Halloween this year. And they were so proud of themselves. They even put on these little name tags that said our names, because that's something that I find great benefit on. And for the market, that my name is always right on my shirt, so that you know who I am and you feel comfortable addressing me personally at all times. I want to stick to my time fairly well, so I want to show you what our newsletter looks like. So our newsletter over the last couple of years has really put in value into earning us revenue from it. We have a weekly newsletter sponsor that is a part of that we have associated with it. We also have sponsorship for several special segments within our newsletter. And what that does is that helps to build revenue back for us as a farmers market, and to make it worthwhile for us to create this type of content for our community. We send out our newsletter because we are an afternoon market, the morning of the market. So it goes out around 10 o'clock on Wednesday mornings. I've heard lots of pushback on this of, you should send it earlier. This is crazy. You can't send it that far in advance. But I will maintain what I continue to think is that we live in such a fast-paced society. The majority of our customers that are coming on a weekly basis don't want to think about their shopping at the farmers market on Wednesday until the actual day of Wednesday. And they know that they're going to get their email, they're going to be able to read it, they're going to be able to see what vendors are going to be at the market. This is a special feature that we always have, who's going to be there, because people do come and go, things happen in their life, and it really leads us to success, where we have about a 50% open rate, which is much higher than the national average. I think the national average is like 10%. We also have what we call a product spotlight. So we're featuring a certain product at the farmers market, and we have a sponsor associated to that, pushing our vendors premium products that our community should definitely want to purchase. And then we all have a community spotlight that has a sponsorship associated with it as well. This so happens to be August 7th. So in our community spotlight, we were saying, hey, we need you to vote for the Indiana's Ultimate Farmers Market for Coffee Creek. And that is what a large thing of what I attribute to why we had success in winning the competition. That leaves me at about 20 minutes, so I could go on, but I'd be happy to just answer any kind of questions there are at this point.
I don't see any questions. If anybody has any, please drop them in the chat, or you can wait until after Ashley presents and you can ask both Damien and Ashley. Any questions? Thank you for sharing your information. Ashley? You're muted. You're still muted, Ashley.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Can you see that?
No.
No,
Try
it's not coming up. All right. Let's see.
I've had to have it open and then share it from.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. How about now?
Yes.
All right.
Awesome.
Here we go. Okay. So I just want to give you a brief history of the market really quickly. There's a nonprofit here in town called the Young Leaders of Northeast Indiana. And their mission is to really keep young people in town. You see so many people leaving after high school, and the goal was to keep them here. So they did a study, and they found that a majority of people would like a farmer's market. So in partnership with the History Center, they resurrected the historic Bar Street Market in July of 2004. So then I started in 2011. And at that time, there were about 30 vendors. We would be super excited to see 400 customers. Our season was about 12 Saturdays, which just covered June, July, and August. And our setup was exactly as it looks in this picture, just under these red awnings right next to the History Center. So, we would get more and more applications, and I just hated turning people away. So that's when we started going to the city and asking if we could start closing streets. So we started closing Bar Street shortly after, probably 2013. And so little by little, that began to grow. We always had a good set of volunteers, and then we always had a really big committee. However, it didn't always end that way, I guess. So like I said, we had closed city streets. We started Brunch on Bar. Brunch on Bar is right across the street from us. That's another event. That's where we keep all of our food trucks and our alcohol vendors. So we had a bar that came to us 6 years ago, I believe, and they wanted to sell Bloody Marys. And so we talked to excise, and we were able to have them come to the market. But because we were a market, they had to pull a certain type of permit, which required them to have a fenced-in area. Well, when you're at the market, you don't really want to stay in a fenced-in area. You want to shop around. So while that worked for one season, we were already looking to say, okay, well, how can we change this for next year? And then that was 2020, and the pandemic was here. And excise just really did not have the time to put into approving the permits. So we started it again in 21. So I contacted excise, and I said, okay, well, how can we get around this? And they suggested that we start a new event. A new event that would not be considered a farmer's market. Therefore, it would allow alcohol vendors to pull in a different type of permit. Therefore, they would not be required to have a fenced-in area. And it just happened to be next to a farmer's market. So then they could walk through the farmer's market with their alcohol. And I think this is when we really started to see our numbers increase. Just before we started Brunch on Bar, I mean, we were still at about 80 vendors, and we had an additional street that we closed, Berry Street. But when we started this, then we had more food trucks. We were able to put all the food trucks over there, and then we were able to have more vendors on the market side. And this still continues today. When you're over at Brunch on Bar, it's just shoulder to shoulder, and it is completely crazy packed over there. In this time, we also started our Pop Club, which some of our produce vendors take, like SNAP and EBT. But just the market itself, we weren't able to do that. It's just me and one other person, my assistant, that are employed. And so all we would have is our volunteer accountant, and that is just a lot of paperwork for him to do in the background. So we really like the idea of our Pop Club. But we would still encourage those farmers to take SNAP on their own, just not the market as a whole. So anyway, we have our Pop Club, and when we started that, I think it was in 19, we just tried it for like 7 weeks or so. And we self-funded it. So we got the tokens that are worth $2, and we chose to give those out to kids ages 2 to 10, and we give out $200 every Saturday. And so initially it wasn't too bad. Like, I was able to find volunteers to help staff the tent. But as the program grew, the following summer, we had it all summer long, all 22 weeks. And it was just very, very hard to find volunteers to do that every Saturday. So I'll talk about that a little bit later, what we figured out to do with our Pop Club. We've also started a winter market. And we've had to move that location just once, hopefully not many more times. We really never wanted to do a winter market. We always wanted to give the vendors the time off, but they just kept pushing and pushing, and they really wanted it. So we got it started. And what's really cool about our winter market locations is that they've always been in a historical building. So it kind of really fits along with the history of our summer market, since we're on the historical Bar Street Market site. Initially, we were over at Aunt Millie's, which that's holds a lot of history here in Fort Wayne, and then at the old candy factory, which is where we're at now. A lot of our customers have, older parents that were working there, so it's really fun to hear all of those stories. We've also expanded our staff. Like I said, for a long time, it was just me, and then I was finally able to bring in an assistant. Even so, I now have some social media people and someone that helps with Brunch on Bar. And it's just been a blessing to have more hands on deck. We also extended our season several times. Like I said, when we started, it was only about 12 weeks, and now we're at 22 in the summer. And then, of course, when we expanded into the winter, that took us to every week, all year long. So then this is just some things that we've done over the years. Like I said, we've expanded our footprint. In the bottom right corner, that's our Pop. We also had our logo created for that, our very own logo. There are some things out there through Indiana that, they have everything that you would need to do Pop, but we really wanted to, we read through all the ideas, but we like the idea of having our own logo and kind of making our own, but that's the idea, is to see how it works for you. We've also done a lot of other events at the market. We've had yoga at the market. We have ponies at the market. You can come and ride a pony. I think we're going to do that this year. That will be the 3rd year for that. We have our alcohol vendors down there. Chapman's was one of the first ones to come in with that. It seems like Wayne 15 is always down there doing interviews with us. So we really, really enjoy that. So some of the challenges that we've had over the years, volunteers. When I first started, it wasn't horrible. We had a good call of volunteers, but in speaking to the volunteer center here in Fort Wayne, it's not just us, but for many places across the board, it's been challenging to get volunteers. So we've just kind of had to change the way that we do volunteers. One way that we've changed that is by doing our volunteer deposit program. So we charge all the vendors $25 at the beginning of the season. And if they come volunteer at the end of the market to either bring in trash cans or take down tables, we have a list. So as long as they can do those things, they can do all 3 things in one day, or they can spread them out over 3 Saturdays, then we will give them that $25 back. We've also partnered with local local organizations, nonprofits, or other organizations, and we pay them if they're able to send some volunteers. We make a donation to their organization if they're able to send some people to help us set up in the morning and help us tear down in the afternoon. Back in the day, it was just me and the committee that was setting up and tearing down, but it's really gotten to be so much that we're doing. We have like 40 trash bins that we take out, 30 round tables, our signs and banners, the pop tents that need to go up, the musician tents that need to go up. So to help vendors set up, in addition to getting the market set up, it's been really helpful to be able to depend on those local organizations to come through for us and help us get set up. I'm so envious of Damon to be able to have such a successful Wednesday market. We're still working on that. Again, we're bringing in our local organizations, nonprofits, to help us grow the Wednesday market. This will be, if we do it this year, it'll be our 3rd year. It seems that a lot of our Wednesdays are getting rained out. It's just really hot. We've had a lot of cancellations on Wednesdays over the past few years because of weather. So this year we're looking into maybe holding it inside, or at least have the option to go inside. We also have the idea of encouraging young vendors to come in. This past Saturday, we had our junior vendor jamboree, which is when we invite the young vendors, the kid vendors, to come and sell at the market so they can get an idea of how that kind of thing works. And so we also invite them to our Wednesday markets to understand how that works, to start working with customers, and then they're not bombarded on Saturdays, because when you're there on Saturdays, it's just nonstop all day with customers. So it's a bit of a slower pace on Wednesday. And then coming back to our pop club, like I said, that was really difficult to find volunteers for that. So again, we worked with a lot of nonprofits. So I send out an email to probably 20 to 40 nonprofits about this time. I need to do that next week. And then I have a sign up sheet that they can sign up when to do, if there's a day that they'd like to sign up to give out the tokens. So we give them a free 10 by 10 space. They can still hand out their flyers or whatnot have you. And then they just have to hand out the tokens, the $2 tokens. We do ask them to take a zip code so we can kind of see where they're coming from. And that's really the only data that we take in for that. So that's been really helpful. So really just partnering with local organizations, I think, has been a huge key for success over the past couple of years. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great to have sponsorships, but when you can really create that partnership with local organizations, you know, you have people that you can count on to help you be there, because usually that's what you need, is actually, you know, hands on deck to help you do things. So today, 15 years later, we've been voted #1 in Indiana 3 years in a row. The best market in Fort Wayne for the past 6 years. We do about 200 vendors every Saturday. That includes brunch on bar, with our average of 8,000 customers every Saturday. And we also take over multiple city blocks. So when we started with 30 vendors just in the courtyard, and now we have multiple city blocks. You get in some good some good footprints every Saturday, some good steps. So it has been a wild ride, but I think just creating the partnerships has really helped us take off, and welcoming the kid vendors, because then we always have them come back, as well as working with other events in the area. That has really helped us as well, to have our events all together, so then people are not scattered throughout the city. They can just come to one location and participate in local events. So I did not have very much. That kind of wraps up what I had.
Fantastic. We do have a question. How do you feel your farmers market? Sorry about that. How do you feel your farmers market benefited more from social media or your website? This was, I think, was from Damien. And then Ashley can also talk about how she engages her her customers?
I think that I wouldn't say one is more important than the other. Whatever you choose, you need to be consistent on so that people know that they can go to that source to be able to find you. Have it be known that not everyone does social media, so that is a barrier if you're making that route, that there are some people who are not going to be able to connect that way. And then because, like I mentioned, our issues with people finding where our market was located, that map on our website has really been fundamental. And at least, even when people complain that it took them 10 minutes to find it, we can say, well, we did put it right on our website and put the onus back on them.
Ashley, what do you think? How do you engage your customers?
Yeah, just about the same. Social media. We post at least once or twice a day, and like Damien said, it's a lot of like, here's what you can find at the market as far as products, here's what we're going to be doing, and it's not just once or twice, but like repeating it constantly. We also have signage up at the market as far as like where the bathrooms are, or how to listen to our podcast, or how to hear our vendors. Because again, like Damien said, not everyone is going on social media. So to try to reach those people through signage at the market, but even so, not everyone reads signs. It sounds silly, but not everyone's going to read the signs. So it's just having knowledgeable people at our tent to answer those questions as well.
I do have a question for you, Ashley. How did you solicit, or how did you solicit brewers for your market?
Honestly, I didn't really have to. when one person started doing it, and then they told a bunch of other people, and then like they just all kind of flocked this way. But we still make sure that they're local. We are producer only, and so that carries to them as well. It has to be local, and I think we have them come as far as Michigan, Indianapolis, and they do really well each Saturday.
Fantastic. Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Christina, I have a question for Ashley. Ashley, that 8,000 average customers you have per week, is that just Saturday, or does that include your Wednesday market? Or
That's just Saturday.
that's just incredible.
It's just Saturday. We would normally have people walk around with counters, and it was really hard to get my staff to do that. So we found Placer AI, but it is crazy expensive. Where they like use the pings of your cell phones to be able to tell us how many people are there. And so the city of Fort Wayne actually has it. And so there's a department within Fort Wayne that we work with, and they send me those numbers every Saturday.
You said it was called Placer AI?
Placer AI, yeah.
And then another question, are you the only farmers market in Fort Wayne on Saturday?
No.
Wow.
Fort Wayne Farmers Market, I think the owner had sold that to Electric Works. I'm not sure what their plan will be for this Saturday. You still have the market down on the south side. And Solomon's Farm is on Wednesdays. So there may be a few smaller ones on Saturdays.
Okay, and last question. What's your time frame on Saturday? What open to close? You may have said that, but I may have missed it.
No, it's fine. I don't think I mentioned that. 9 to 1. I get there about 6:30. Vendors going to start setting up at 7. We're very particular about that. Our permit doesn't start until 7 to start closing streets, but we still have to allow for cars to come in to unload, but we strictly close our footprint at 7:45. And then we close at 1 o'clock. All of our road closures are still up until 1 o'clock, and we usually start to open those up at about 1:15. Our permit ends at 2 o'clock, so everyone has to be off by 2.
And how do you handle parking for that many people?
That's a good question.
Okay, cool.
There's still some street parking, but again, it's just working with neighbors. Like, can our people park here? Can we park here? Like, can I advertise you on our social media? Like, would you like a spot? Just really working with them to figure out how this is how you would benefit me by letting me use your parking. Now, how can I benefit you? And so that's how
That is an incredible turnout. 8,000 people every Saturday is incredible. Nice
Yeah.
work.
Thank you.
So
And
Gail,
thank you for all your answers.
sorry, Gail shared that visitors bureaus may have Placer AI available. So for those in other counties, may want to connect with their visitor bureau. And also Placer AI can only give numbers for events longer than 2 hours, was noted. So thank you for that. Yeah, Shelley, we can drop Ashley, can you drop your email address into the chat, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, let me see what else. Any other questions for Damien or Ashley? So I do know I have visited the Fort Wayne. The Fort Wayne Farmers Market is at the Electric Works. I believe that it is still under, it's a nonprofit. It's still nonprofit. And it is, I don't know, I haven't been there recently. And then the Southside Farmers Market is also on a Saturday. But yeah, Fort Wayne just rocks on Saturdays with their farmers markets. They're amazing. And even some of the surrounding farmers markets, the larger ones, they can do up to 10,000 a Saturday, Audra. That's not unheard of. So yeah, kudos to those that do that.
That is truly incredible. Nice work to everybody.
Thank you.
Damien, how do you track your numbers at your farmers market? Do you use volunteers or do you have any strategy for that?
Yeah, we have had to do customer counts by usually paid staff, but even that, there's quite a bit of discrepancy. I wrote down to check with my local visitor center to see if they have Placer AI. We've had to just like not. I've had to not put the emphasis on the number of people that we push through our market, but because of the size of our market. I focus more on whether or not vendors are pulling in more revenue to focus on.
Yeah, definitely. We do have a question. How big are each of your boards and how often do you meet for planning? So yours is a nonprofit, Damien, correct?
Yes, yeah. So we just have 3 people on our board, and they are just strictly oversight, and me and my team, or myself and my team, are the ones who are doing all the organization. I think just part of the reality of being a young not-for-profit grassroots type of situation.
Okay. Ashley, how are you organized?
The board I think is maybe 15 people, but kind of like Damien's, it's just an oversight. So I just report to them monthly. I might see them at the market on Saturday, but that's usually to just do some shopping. So it's myself and small staff that really plan the market. We don't have a time that we necessarily meet every month because we see each other usually every Saturday. But usually we're meeting in January, at the very least January, to start putting together the application to like finalize it to get that out. We have like a big vendor meeting at the beginning of February, which is tomorrow actually, to just let everyone know how the upcoming summer season is going to work. Like I said, we see each other every Saturday, and then we might get together as a committee again September, October, to just like, okay, how did the summer go? What do we want to change for next year? And then, we're jumping right into the winter season and planning there as well.
That sounds good. How's yours structured, Damien? Do you have similar flow or
For my board or my planning?
your planning and recruitment? Since you're a smaller market, what are your challenges?
Yeah. So I would say like the reality is that every year is noticeably different because of how much we're changing and growing. The COVID year was really what got us gave us a foothold in showing us that we think the community is going to take to this. I think that was year 5. year 6 because we did stay open and function like a grocery store. And ever since, we've just seen further continued growth. This year in particular, we've had our applications open for the season starting April 9th, probably for 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm getting applications nearly every single day. Like, the amount of people who are applying is twice as much as what we've had in the past. So the hard part is juggling that push-pull of, just because I have people who want to be at my market doesn't mean I'm going to accept everyone, because if I have to make sure that I think that I have the community to support those vendors and figure out what will work for this coming market season.
Makes sense. All right. I don't see any more questions. Please feel free to unmute. All right. Well, thank you both, Ashley and Damien. Great presentations. I've learned a lot. And you both do a phenomenal job with the markets. 2 very different markets that thrive and survive, and are definitely entrenched in the community, and you both give back to the community. So thank you. That alone makes you guys winning markets. So I appreciate all that you do. And thank you everyone for participating in the 2025 Farmers Market Forum. I think we'll call that a wrap. And all the recordings will be made available on the INFMCP website under trainings and the Indiana Farmers Market tab. So thank you all. I appreciate everything, and see you next year.
Thanks, Christina.